Hello, hello. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the opening round of Season 1 of Broken Wing Racing League's Mazda MX-5 Championship. Thank you very much for joining us. We are finally ready to play for keeps. Over the next 12 rounds, we will have our very first BWRL MX-5 champion in June. We are counting the points from now on. This is serious business, and joining me along for the ride is James Hinchcliffe's superfan and body double, Dylan Thomas.
Thanks, Mark. Glad to be here. Hopefully I can channel a little bit of James Hinchcliffe's energy, and I'm excited about the race tonight. So nothing that I have to channel there. We got almost 50 drivers on track tonight for the first round of this series, and I cannot wait to see what they do here at Sebring.
Unreal. Yeah, 50 drivers. Well, if you needed a reminder of what usually happens when we race the MX-5s, here's a quick overview of the pre-season rounds. This was 3 events we hosted to prepare for the championship you're about to see today, and we had amazing participation from the first 3 rounds. Just as a test, well over 40 drivers in every event. We kicked off at Watkins, which was absolute chaos from turn 1, and we had a classic Watkins event, bump drafting, door-to-door, sideways through the bus stop. We had brilliant scraps for the lead, especially Trey Mistak and Chris Lambeth. In the feature, we had a big 4-way scrap, which came to a climax. Unfortunately for Chris Lambeth, his chances of the feature race win were dashed at the last corner, but Rodrigo Theory came through to win our first ever MX-5 feature. And then we were off to Okayama, slightly more technical, slightly more relaxed style of racing. Emphasis on slightly, as you see Peter Flanner go through the gravel, but still great door-to-door action, really good racecraft on display. And it was Kyle Caesar who won not just the first one, not just the second one, but all 3 of the heats in a clean sweep. And then lastly, we went to Summit Point, back where it all started. We had a combination of both, a bit of Watkins and a bit of Okayama. We had draft trains, bumping, door-to-door, close side-by-side action. And Kyle Caesar, again, some thrills and spills, as you can see, as is customary, but still some great racing and a nice little 3-wide over the line for 5th place. But again, it's Kyle Caesar's world. We're all just living in it. Can anyone stop Mr. Caesar from winning again?
I don't know. I think you mentioned that he also just recently qualified for the Porsche Cup series on iRacing. So the guy is seriously quick. Any car you put him in, and at a track like Sebring, I think it's going to show pretty well. But man, I'm excited to see how he does there and see if anybody has an answer for him.
Well, yes, as I said, we are playing for keeps, so that means points. We've got our point system here. Dylan, would you like to explain this to our fans?
Absolutely. So to help make sense of everything happening on track, here's an overview of the key points paying positions from 1st to 5th place. Points are awarded for our single qualifying session. Pole position nets 70 points. Then heat race offers up to 280 for the winner, followed by a whopping 700 points for victory in the feature. You'll see that the system awards the winner with a little bonus, 20 more than the second in the heat and 50 more in the feature. So there's incentive to go for the win here. Not that these guys will really need much of that, but last but not least, the driver with the fastest lap in each race will get a 20-point bonus. The maximum possible score of points is 1,090, and points are awarded all the way down to last place at every round, so there's always something to race for, always a reason to finish the race. And also handy for any of our GT3 enjoyers, participators, or viewers, because this is the same scoring system in that championship too. You just swap the heat points for class points, so you get wherever you finish overall, so that's that 700 point. If you finish first in your class, you get an additional 280. So that's why those points kind of range pretty high in that series, but it does work out for good championship racing. And over the series that we're looking at here with the MX-5s, I have a feeling these guys are going to go up and down with some of these points because incidents and accidents can happen so easily.
Yes, right. I'm wondering if the actual point system will deter a little bit of the silliness that we saw in the pre-season. There's actual consequences now. You can really harm your championship by throwing a move or sending it side by side where you shouldn't. So yes, this is what everyone is playing for. These are the marbles, and here is the format that we'll be using. Part of pre-season was testing out which ones work and which ones are best for this type of action, and these are the 2 events we decided on.
Yeah, after going through a different type of racing every week, this is what the drivers and the folks running the league decided was the best format. And so tonight we're kicking things off with a 15-minute heat race. This one's short, sharp, and absolutely unforgiving. There's no time to ease into it. The drivers need to be on it immediately because it is a quick race. It's all about track position, clean execution, and setting the tone because this result will lock in your grid for the main event. Then we reset very shortly, we take a breath, and roll into the 25-minute feature race. Now this is where things can evolve. The extra time gives drivers a chance to settle in, find a rhythm, and actually race instead of just surviving lap one. You'll still see a lot of aggression. These cars, it's just kind of built in with the MX-5s, but this is Sebring after all, and the smart drivers will know it's not won in the first 2 laps. It's built over the 25 minutes of pressure, precision, and racecraft. So it's a 2-part story tonight, Mark. Survive and position in the heat, and then execute when it counts in the feature.
Absolutely. Well said. Yeah, well, we can see the feature race is worth just so much more that you could almost treat the heat race as sort of an extended qualifying session and just getting yourself into a good spot to actually fight for the front in the feature. Looking at these times as well, it's making me think about our qualifying. Our open qualifying session is only 10 minutes long, and we're at Sebring today, and lap times are somewhere in the 2:25s for the quick guys. So yeah, they're only going to have about 3 hot laps, and they're going to have to absolutely sprint out of the pit lane to get a lap in, because once we hit the 10-minute cutoff, you blink and you just go straight back to the pits. So the track length and the heat length, I think, will be big factors in what we're going to see tonight.
Yeah, I think you lovingly refer to it as the Thanos snap, and I think it's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
You know, these guys are going to have a tough time during qualifying tonight in 10 minutes. Like you said, you're only going to have a chance for maybe 1 or 2 real flying laps. It's going to take some time for these guys to get the tires to warm up. So first, the out lap and the second lap that they do, they're really probably not going to be able to push too much. I was doing some test laps earlier, Mark, and the surface here at Sebring is very slick. It's it's all concrete. There's a ton of bumps. So you really need grip in those tires to really push these laps, and you can see the difference in the pace in these guys. We've had some weeks where first through 30th place, they were only separated by a second. Tonight, it's looking like first to 30th is almost 3 seconds difference between them. So going to be a lot of skill gap here, a lot of different pace. So it's really going to matter about who are you behind and who are you ahead of during the open qualifying, finding a spot to get a good draft versus not being behind somebody that's well off your pace, and you might have to try to overtake during a qualifying lap. So that'll be interesting to watch.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, when we run here in the GT3s, we see how much draft makes a difference in terms of fuel saving, or even just being able to stay ahead of someone if you're running low wing. So the straights are hugely important and meaningful here. This is a big track for little cars. It looks like an airstrip. It's like landing a tiny little Cessna plane on the back straight. So
well, it is an airstrip.
Right, literally, yeah. So that marks the end of practice, and then we will get into qualifying. We'll see who gets out of the pit lane first, which will be important because they'll give them a tiny bit more time to squeak a lap in. We'll go to TV1, see when they emerge. Sessions advanced. Bit cloudier, track temperature may have cooled down slightly, and Jesse Briere looks like the first man who's managed to get out there. Oh, that's a big lie. There's lots of
that's a long pit lane. When you're jumping into these open qualifying sessions, where your pit box is generally defined by when you join the session for practice. So you see a lot of guys jump in real early, try to get that front pit box. So when you're coming out of the pit lane, you're the first box out, and then sometimes you're sitting there in the car just clicking the let me go, let me go, let me go. You want to get out there.
But it's agony in the GT3s.
Absolutely.
So what we're going to look for, we do open qualifying here at Broken Wing Racing League in all series except the ovals. And so what that allows these drivers to do is use the slipstream of the people around them. And what we've noticed is tonight there's a couple of teams who have shown up in nice matching colours, and I wonder if they're going to be able to find each other or strategically drop back and give each other tow. However, thinking about the length of the track, will they have time to back off, even if it benefits their teammate? They may just have to push from the word go in order to get 2 laps. So maybe the sheer length of the track is going to cancel out any of that gamesmanship.
Well, or, you know, the strategy very well could be saying, hey, let's put the quicker guy up front so the guy following behind can just kind of follow those laps. I know it always helps me when you have somebody ahead of you that you can trust their line, really just follow them around, and man, you can find 10th after 10th of getting those good lines through, plus the slipstream. Put the fast guy out front, he's probably going to have fast laps anyway, and let the other guy get a little help from behind. Or you could flip that on your head, Mark, and say, hey, let's put the quicker guy in the back. We'll wait until we have a good gap. We'll find a good space and then really push. And the guy that we think can get a better position at the end of the race, he's going to have that slipstream, be able to set a better time for qualifying.
Interesting to see Braden Daniels trying to warm the tyres. And I imagine that probably made Marshall Scari have to check up a little bit because he doesn't want to take the lead. Meanwhile, behind them, we've got Mr. Kyle Caesar, who overtook Joshua Grosso. I'm sure Joshua would be happy to see that because was the fastest man in practice by about 6 tenths. So that's prime real estate to be right behind him in his tow. Braden is going all over the track. I don't know if he wants to give anything to Marshall, but they're all filing in behind him, hugging close to the wall. This is the first flying lap.
Yeah, turn 1's such a fun corner. You got to take it so quick, and it's all about trust. Are those outside tires going to grip, or are you going to kind of carry out? It doesn't take much to get an off track there and ruin the whole lap, and you get a 1X, and your time won't count for the whole rest of the lap, and it's a long way back around to try to set one and get your mindset correct to set a flying lap the next time and say, okay, this time it's going to grip, Mark.
Right. Having a look around, I'm trying to look for some of the teammates we saw. Carter A. Thompson, one of them. And so, I imagine he'll be pulling his teammate. Yes, he is. If we look, the man behind him is Gavin Bailiff. So teammates have found each other out there, although Carter getting a little bit held up by Jesse Breer, who is in the same livery as Braden Daniels. So they're also teammates as well. Oh, there's contact, so that will invalidate that lap. Oh, he's over.
Yeah, both of their laps are going to be done for that.
Yep, so that's Gavin Bailiff probably down to 1 flying lap now. Now that the lap is written off, they'll probably race each other. Let Carter get away. Braden Daniels is the head of this train, and it's become 5 cars. You see how powerful the draft is, because
yes.
I don't think Isaac Gardner back there was even trying to keep up, and he's just been pulled into this. Marshall almost going defensive. See, this is like watching a race.
Sometimes you'll see a driver just kind of peek out the side just so that you can see your braking point, and then it puts you off your line, so it's really not helpful too much to see your braking point because you're in the wrong position to brake for it. This is where the draft will be huge during the race. You'll see cars nose to stern on this all the way down. With this open qualifying, it's pretty difficult. You see one of the cars pulling out of there, trying to get a clean start. That's Kyle, isn't it? Yeah, so Kyle's going to get a clean run with one car up ahead of him. I wonder if he's going to even try to get around him or accept that slipstream. It does look like he's going side by side. So during a quali lap, they're already roaring and ready to race. It's so difficult, Mark. You get that push, and then these cars are so used to just giving a little nudge to the guy in front. But in open qualifying, that'll nullify your whole lap. One little 0x.
Right. All they will kept it clean. Oh, Marshall Scari's off. That's his lap done, and it's Kyle Caesar who has got the fastest lap, but it's only and he's been usurped by Carter Thompson, who was actually the head of a train there, so he may have done some of that without a slipstream, which is very impressive. And that's the first time I've seen a 224, so they're really turning up the wick now, putting in the fast laps. I'm curious to see if Kyle Caesar is almost too close to Braden. We had a comment in the Twitch chat asking how many tenths a tow is worth. It's definitely worth plenty, but yes, if you get too close, you end up being balked rather than helped. And I wonder if that's been the case for Kyle Caesar. It wouldn't surprise me if he's got a 224 in him, maybe just wasn't able to show it, being mixed up with Marshall Scari and Braden Daniels there.
Well, you can see there's a huge difference. It could be anywhere from a second to a second and a half, I think, with some of the tow here. We saw Braden, he's at the front of that line. Looks, from the eye test, it looks like he's running just fine, just as fast as everybody else. And then you have Kyle, who was just a few people behind him, had that tow, got pulled in, and he's a couple seconds faster. So the difference could be second place or 11th place, as we're seeing Kyle and Braden respectively in their positions right now. So it's huge around this track.
This looks like Kyle doesn't need the tow. He's pulled a gap on Braden Daniels just through his sheer pace alone, and now it's looking like Joshua Grosso will get the tow on the long straight, but it may pull him into a position. No, I think he might have a decent gap. By the time they get to Sunset Bend, he may just be able to run his normal racing line and bank a good lap time. Joshua Grosso, P4 currently, very close to third place.
It's going to have a tremendous difference in speed going into this final corner. Yeah, as you can see, it kind of close up. He goes in a little bit wider than the other cars. So many lines, such a famous final corner for a track, Sunset. There's so many different ways to take it, and all of them can be quick in their own different ways. Some of them you save the amount of time by going in early, and you lose a little bit on the exit. Some people go in a little bit wide and gain a ton of time on the exit down the front stretch. So it's really kind of up to the driver and what your preference is and where you want to attack the time. Do you want to get it last a little bit going into that final corner, or do you want to carry some speed and gain some time going into turn one?
Interestingly, Kyle Caesar did not improve, and my timing sheet suggests he didn't even set a lap either, so maybe he had a 1x somewhere. He's got one last time. So we've got 2 minutes left on the clock. These drivers are just coming into turn 6 towards the hairpin, which is sort of maybe a third around the lap. It's going to be really, really close whether they bank this lap or not, or whether the session is going to end. Anyone else crossing the line now will not have enough time to complete the lap, so their chances of improving are over. It may only be this top 5. The first people who squeaked out the pits before anyone else may be rewarded for spamming F5 and getting in before anyone else.
Yep.
As it stands, Carter Thompson, fastest man on track, but nearly half a second, so it must have been a mighty tow. Kyle Caesar in second, working on improving without any help. Then it's Gavin Bailiff, one of Carter Thompson's teammates, Isaac Gardner, who I don't believe has any teammates in this round, or I can't see anyone with a matching livery. Joshua Grosso, our ARCA admin, in P5. Alejandro Gallego, okay, there's Isaac Gardner's teammate. Chris Chitterling in 7th. Wyatt Cormier, a new name, welcome to the league. P9, Jonathan De Keisha, I remember him from the preseason, and Matthew Mascari runs out the top 10. He's the last man in the 225s. So, Carter Thompson, the only man, still the only man in the 224s, and it's a 24.5.
Yeah, I was just about to say, not only did he hit 24, he hit it by nearly half a second. It'll be interesting to see the race here. Kyle taking the front spot, leading the way during this qualifying. He's still able to put it currently in P2. We'll see how he looks coming out of Sunset here. Does he set a faster time than before as he crosses the line for the last time? 3 seconds before the Thanos snap. And he does go
Marshall Scari, P2.
faster, but Marshall pulls one out. 24.82 for Marshall and Kyle. A 25 flat there, and both of them are behind Carter A. Thompson.
Brilliant. That's my teammate right there. Good stuff, Marshall. Well done. Okay, well, that sets your grid. It is done. Carter Thompson takes pole with a 24.5. Marshall Scari, the only man to also get into the 24s, but still 3/10 away. Kyle Caesar in P3. Gavin Bailiff, teammates with the pole sitter, they're in P4. Isaac Gardner, Josh Grosso, Braden Daniels drops down to 7th by the end of it in the last few seconds. Alejandro Gallego in 8th, Christopher Chitterling 9th, Wyatt Cormier in 10th, Jonathan De Keisha is there in 11th, and Matthew Mascari in 12th.
And starting in 13th is going to be Dean Diltz, just 1.5 seconds off of the leader. Next to him is going to be Ben Gary, followed in the next row by Aiden Gertz and Daniel Haynes. William Van Solkema, 17th place, just under 2 seconds behind the leaders, just over 2 seconds behind leaders. Rodrigo Theory is right next to him. You have Jake Daly and Finnegan Bailiff following them up, and Tom Smith and Andrew Simmons in 21st and 22nd.
Lars Tyhouse, series admin there in 23rd. It's a good effort from him. Jason Chen in 24th. Tyler Kern, our GT3 AM champion, 25th. Neck ahead of Forrest Holland. Oh, great rivals from the GT3 side by side. That's excellent. Gage Himes there in 27th. Tyler Gant in 28th. Jarrett Thompson, 29th. Brian McGrath in 30th. We saw him at the sharp end at the last event in Summit Point. Brandon Renfro, another man we're used to seeing near the front of the field, in 31st. Oliver Brooks, 32nd, Todd Buellmore, 33rd, and then Kyler Bradley in 34th.
Jesse Breer in 35th, and Shane Goins next to him lining up. We've seen Shane make some moves during some races, so he's got some work to do. You have Daniel Veron in 37th, and Daryl Carrington in 38th. 4.5 seconds off the leaders. Aaron Walker and Alex Beal are behind them in 39th and 40th. Jeff Lubitsch coming back to the track after getting his setup back going. He'll start next to Jonathan Glick. And then behind them is Ronnie Bowers and Trey Miatas. It looks like a couple people didn't set some laps. Cecil Hell, Ken Pullen, and rounding out. And that rounds out our starting grid.
All right.
46 cars, Mark.
I know. Absolute chaos. I'm so ready for this. We're here. We're here for the full-on championship. It's go now. I hope the camera changes. There it is. So this is it. Points are being dished out. This is for real this time. We're off, and we're already 3 wide going into turn 1.
I see 4 wide, maybe a little bit 5 wide. Going back further through the group. So easy to get a tough start coming out of that sunset. It was a quick starting lap, so not a lot of time to warm up the tires. Heard a little bit of mayhem in the background, but don't see anything just yet. Going into the turn 2 series of corners, heading down through that to the Gurney Bend. A long straightaway, full throttle all the way through. You're going to take a little bit of a right-hand turn, manage the bump, hit this brake zone. Near the end of this straight, you'll see the hairpin turn. This is where we're going to see a lot of moves attempted. Try to get it done on the brakes, try to keep it together, try not to spin around. As you can see, the leaders are through. A little bit of a line going. You got Carter A. Thompson leading Kyle Cesare. Nope. Followed by Marshall Scare with his great qualifying lap.
Already seeing some bump drafting going into the hairpin, and they're flying up to, I think it's Cottingham Corner, yes, Cottingham Corner, side by side. It looked like Gavin Bailiff did pop up into second for a brief moment and then fell down. Carl Caesar's already passed Marshall Scary, as you said, but overall it's looking fairly clean. I heard a bit of crunching down into the first big braking zone of 2, but looks like everybody's made it around. I didn't see any tyre smoke or cars around. So Scary taking a bit of gravel.
I saw a move get thrown up on the inside of Rodrigo there as a last-minute move by one of the Miatas in the white livery. I couldn't make out who it was, but it was a last-minute decision. You see a little bit of side-by-side going into the Gindian Bend. This goes into Le Mans curve. You really want to get a good exit here. This is make or break. Who's going to be stuck on the inside? Who's going to get pinched? And then this a long run down to Sunset, down the Ullman Straight. A lot of drafting to do. Very different runs coming out of that final corner. And we got our car getting loose.
I think that's Andrew Simmons. Oh, moving himself out of the way. That's acceptable, I guess. I think he did avoid causing more drama there. And look at the gap that the leaders have.
Big gap, yeah. Looks like Marshall may have had maybe a little bit of a race. He's fighting for third with Josh Grasso. We're going to side by side coming to the end of the first lap here. Just about 13 minutes to go.
Al Caesar already takes the lead. That didn't take
very
long.
Familiar name up there.
Yeah. Wow, yeah, look at the gap. I guess the scrapping, there was a huge gaggle. Joshua Grosso, Marshall Scari, all fighting through Le Mans. Corey just lost them time.
Josh able to get the move done going into the turn 2 finally. Looks like they were together side by side all the way out of Sunset through turn 1 through turn 2.
Gavin Bailiff takes a trip through the grass. Little side by side contact is still going though. He's going to plummet positions though. Everyone's going to streak past. They're not going to let him back in.
No.
Oh no. He's come across William Van Solkema. He just tried to barge his way back in. And
yeah, he just didn't quite have that much room.
Now I've seen more P4 side by side. Ben Gary, his teammate, also getting his elbows out. This is Alejandro Gallego and Ben Gary. I think they were going at it at Summit Point a few weeks ago as well. Dean Diltz watching on behind him. Chris Chitterling maintained his position from where he started. He's in the thick of it. It's Matthew Mascari coming up the inside of turn 10. Will he keep it side by side? Yes, Chitterling contests it. They'll stay side by side. This is through Tower.
Chris is just able to kind of carry just enough momentum on the outside, getting good runs. He's still able to stay side by side here. Like I said, he's going to have a run all the corner, but then he's going to be stuck. He slots in, chooses. There's as wide as the track looks. This little section right here, it's way tough. You can almost go side by side anywhere else in the track, but you get stuck on the outside there. It's not good as you see the car ahead of them.
Doors open. Thank you very much.
That's going to compromise their exit all the way down. He does find a spot to slot in. That Van Stolkum, it looks like his hood recovered. So yeah, he was able to snap it back in place and still fighting for possibly a top 10.
That's amazing. I thought he was dead. He's come back. It's incredible. Cars ahead. Someone was swooping in there. That was Matthew Mascari. Oh, it may have been a mine punt. It's enough to unsettle Chris. He's gone wide. Now they'll be side by side.
Gosh, you could see the amount of slip angle these cars have to do. Matthew Mascari, I mean, was running a drift for about 70% of that final corner, full throttle, like just hammering down. These cars are pretty low grip on this surface, and you can see it's even less grip when you get a little bit of a nudge there.
Hold it, Matthew.
Able to keep it off the wall, not bad.
Yeah, will emerge. Back onto the racing line. Gets out the way. He's again wants to try and cut back in. It's like no one wants to get shoved out of the lane because you just drop like a stone. Back at the front, Carl Caesar hasn't been able to shake Carter Thompson. He's sitting in right behind him, wondering if he's deciding to just relax and wait for his moment. Pull away from P3 and 4, give himself room to fight. Even if they do scrap, they've got a cushion to play with. Next closest cars Joshua Grosso in P3, Marshall Scari is now being threatened by Braden Daniels. It's turn 10.
Braden's going to have a good look on the inside here, trying to get it done on the brakes. Marshall's going to try to carry as much speed as he can. Then it's going to be Marshall to the advantage for 2 corners. He's going to have the inside shorter line, and Marshall's able to hold it together while on the outside there. So interesting defensive tactics. I mean, we saw a couple people being able to hold position while staying on the outside of some of the, more well-known passing opportunities where a lot of people want to throw it down on the inside, and these cars carry so much momentum. Having that run on the exit here is so important.
Let's see what Chris decides to do here. You can hear him backing off. As the better slipstream opportunity is around the next few corners, there's no point lunging up the inside now, and he's going to go super wide, cut back, and get a great
run.
An
awesome run on the car up ahead. Dean got a little compromise going through that Le Mans curve. As you can see, Chitterling's already side by side even before the draft happens. Now it's interesting because Dean's going to have that that draft going down into the corner. So you see that drag race, see how it kind of levels out. Chris is going to have the inside angle advantage. Like I mentioned earlier,
wow,
a lot of different ways to take this corner. Dean sends it there, carries the momentum around the outside. He's going to have a look turn 1 possibly, far ahead of him.
Fantastic, great driving from Dean. Just threw it around the outside and kept the momentum going.
So he's going to turn that defense into an offensive maneuver. He does get the inside here in turn 1. He's going to clear the car. Is he going to be able to keep the grip and have a good enough run? He does. So that's great driving by Dean. Holy moly.
Brilliant, yeah.
That's awesome stuff.
From the back foot to the front foot. Meanwhile, this gaggle up ahead, scrapping over P3. Sorry, make that P4. It looked like Braden Daniels, Marshall Scari were side by side all through here. Then Gary sitting at the back, blinking and disappearing, and returning and disappearing. A few blinks from the same guys. Carter Thompson in second also disappeared from the timing tower for a second. Maybe they're all having a LAN party.
Possibly.
And then Braden Daniels now, but he'll box him in. He's got no reason to give him room, so he's forced to give Marshall Scari a bump.
I mean, they are magnetized together until Braden's having a little bit of connection issues there.
Now Daniels,
Marshall,
it's the reverse. Now it's Daniels.
Last lap, Marshall was defending from the outside. Now he's trying to defend from the inside, and you can see Braden's able to carry that speed around the outside. So it's interesting, Mark. I mean, to see the outside line. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
that's
into the braking
unfortunate.
zone and into the wall. Sorry, Marshall. He's decided to call it quits. He'll be back for the feature in just 6 minutes' time. May look at a replay of that momentarily.
Yeah, I mean, it did look like he just kind of turned in, like it wasn't there. I mean, who knows? I mean, we saw that. Oh, see, 3 wide. Oh my gosh!
I thought I heard some crunching in the
All
back.
5 of them somehow got into it.
Oh, that's Forrest Holland in there as well, and Trey Miatas. Oh man, shame. Well, we'll go back live. Check out the battle at the front. Carter Thompson hanging on. A tenth quicker the last time around. In the 225s, the only drivers in the 225s, and you can see the gap. They're just clearing everybody else. They're in their own little private race. Braden Daniels, yeah, thanks to Marshall Scari's demise, has made a little gap there. So now the next closest scrap at the sharp end of the field is Dean Diltz, William Van Solkema, and Rodrigo Theory, who we saw in the little montage at the beginning.
Rodrigo, again, finding his way up to the front. He's a very consistent, patient driver. And patience, as we're seeing with some of these incidents we're going back through and reviewing, it pays off. I mean, you're never out of it. These cars are designed to get argy-bargy. Thank you for the follow, Creasy. That surprised me.
Yeah, I forgot about that, yeah.
I was right in the middle of a point.
So excuse me, Creasy, do you mind?
But yeah, no, Rodrigo just finds his way to the front. We talked to him after one of the races.
Wow, another one, really? That's just rude.
Yeah. That's great. Thank you for the follow.
Quick shout out to Gage Himes, up 18 spots. I thought he was a little bit low in qualifying, and here he is all the way up into the top 10. So kind of like we were saying at the beginning, where you can use the heat race to poise yourself for the feature. That's exactly what he's doing. He will start, if things finish the way they are, in P9, which is a great start for him. Meanwhile, we got Diltz and Van Solkema at it again.
What a great battle these guys are having. Dina's doing a really good job of fighting these battles, finding the right spot to be with the car, defending in the right positions, attacking in the correct positions, using his defense to attack. And he's going to be on the defense here, probably from all 3 of these cars. He is going to have the inside advantage going into this corner, but they're bunched together. Oh, this could be very difficult through this portion right here. A very low grip, high-speed corner. Dean again. Oh, isn't able to hold it together though. He's going to come out last in that little group. He's going to have a pretty good slowdown there too on the long stretch. See if he's able to serve that in a strategic way to stay in that battle.
I hope we can clear it, but with the draft, his penalty might be ticking up instead of down.
Yeah, give credit there to Van Solkema, one, for still being in this race after taking a pretty good knock to the front end of the car. He's up 12 positions, but applying that pressure, forcing a mistake from Dean, who looks like he's still battling it out. So he may have gotten that slowdown served, or maybe just got a 1X for that little spot.
Sorry, I thought the leaders were side by side for a moment. Never mind. But yeah, Dean Diltz was 4-wheel sliding through Sunset Bend there, so penalty obviously not an issue anymore. He's got Chitterling trying to make a move around the outside. Doesn't give him a lane. Chris doesn't mind. Again, the track is so wide in these things. You've got so many different lines to play with, so you can just go side by side through places you normally don't see side by side action, or if you do, it usually results in a crash. But these guys are able to keep going. Jason Chen, another man, gaining a bunch of spots, up 13. Again, I thought he was kind of low in qualifying, but again, making his way forward. He's giving Alejandro Gallego a little bit of a bump. He's going to throw it down the inside, noses down into the hairpin. Alejandro wants to cut in, but cannot move Jason. Keeps it side by side. has a slight overlap. Is it enough to cut in front of Jason? Doesn't look like it, so they'll maybe go side by side. Anno tucks in. Is he going to throw it down the inside at turn 10? Or is he going to take the Braden Daniels Marshall line around the outside and then catch the inside for the next corner? He does. Oh, and he's cleared him before the turn.
Jason's absolutely flying. His last lap was in the 25s. Everybody around him is second slower. So not only is he driving well when it comes to side-by-side battles, I mean, he's just got the pace in hand to fight through the pack. I mean, he's up a lot of spots, 14 spots. Gage in front of him is up 18 spots.
Right. So Alejandro's aggression cost him there. He just threw it to the inside and had to back out completely.
Wow.
Jason Chen scampers off. Brandon Renfro now makes it 3 wide.
3 wide through that whole section. Everybody survives it for now. I mean, that's great racing. Holy moly. You guys are putting on a show, Mark.
I know, right? This is just the heat. There's going to be more of this. Okay, just 30 seconds left, and these 2 leaders are coming around.
This will be white flag.
That is a white flag, you're right. So now is Carter's time to strike. If he's been waiting...
And they've got space behind them to race, so, you know, they have the chance to win, get that extra bit of points. You know, Carter very well could be in a championship run here. I think the chance you get, you got to try to take some points from Kyle.
Sure. He's just got to keep him under pressure, even if he just hogs his mirrors, just shows his nose. Ooh, catching a tiny bit of dirt.
You know, at this point, I don't think the pressure really matters to Kyle. You've seen him win so much. I think we're going to have to see a move from Carter to get this done. My guess is that he's probably going to wait for a good run, try to get a good exit out of Sunset. Because right now, if you pass Kyle at this moment, you're just going to give him a huge toe and a difference in speed coming down in the final corner. And the way that he's driven over the preseason, the way he's driven this first race of the first round, Kyle isn't untouchable. Carter's right there. But man, you got to make something happen.
Matthew Mascari off the track. We'll do a quick replay and see how that occurred. No, that's him. Anyway, back to the leaders. Sorry. So you could see that Carter was able to claw back 4 tenths. Despite that little mistake, the draft is just so strong. He's right back on his heels.
But Kyle is making sure that he's taking up a lot of the middle of that track, so that might cost him a little bit of his lap time. But we're going to see this big push all the way down Bishop Bend, heading into Le Mans curve after this corner right here. This is such a tricky corner. I think it's called Gendibian or Gendibian Bend. But it's a sneaky hard corner because it sets you up for this Le Mans corner, and you can see Carter swinging out a little bit wide, full body roll on that car. And you see Kyle trying to cut away, get rid of that first initial bit of draft on that exit there. But it won't matter. There's a lot of time to follow in these cars. And he's going to force Carter around the outside into Sunset. Is Carter going to be able to pinch him short, keep him down low, carry the speed outside? No, he's going for the carry of the speed. They're side by side. Carter's around.
They're both drifting.
A little bit of loss of grip, and Carter's way deep. Kyle's able to get the run. And he's going to take the win of the first heat, first round. That's awesome. Wow. That was great racing, all the way to the finish.
Not a walk in the park. Carter Thompson second. Braden Daniels is in a drag race with Grosso for 3rd place. Who gets that?
Looks like Braden was able to get it.
Just. And then Chris Chitterling, Van Solkema, Dean Diltz, Gage Hyams up to 7th. Rushing across the line, Dean Diltz demoted to 9th in the end. Jason Chen rounding out the top 10. Alejandro Gallego stays ahead of Brandon Renfro. Tom Smith, well done. Aiden Gertz in 14th, and Tyler Kern in 15th there.
That was such a good battle with Van Solkema, Hams, and Theory, and Diltz. I mean, they were 4 all together for the last 3 or 4 laps. I mean, that's 10 minutes straight of just side-by-side racing.
Morris Holland recovers to 25th. He was involved in an accident. Oh, we've got how many wide?
Using all that track, they paid for it.
They did indeed.
They're going to use it all.
Right. Great racing indeed. I agree, Angel. We await your return with a new wheel very soon. And then Isaac Gardner finishing in 36th. He must have had an incident, because that's far below where he qualified, down 31 spots. Well,
a comment on here. they were holding their breath and they're not even driving. If I didn't have to talk on here, I probably would have been doing the same thing. I don't think that make great commentary though.
It does indeed. Okay, these are not. Those are your qualifying results. Sorry, we're waiting for the heat results to come in, so we may still be waiting for some drivers to cross the line. Aha, there we are.
And crossing it in style indeed. And a couple racers that weren't able to finish that one. Looks like Marshall, Ben Gary, and DeKaischer parked it after some of their incidents, but they'll have a chance to work their way up through the field. Pretty quick names there, so that'll be interesting to watch from the back of the pack, and there's plenty of opportunity with this group, this track, this car.
Absolutely. So Carl Caesar, your heat winner. That makes 6 on the bounce. Don't be discouraged, everyone. There's more races. There's more tracks. He might not show up one week. No, I'm only joking. Carter A. Thompson definitely gave him a run for his money. Did not just streak away from the pack. He was kept honest. Here we go. We reset for the feature. 25 minutes now for this one. We'll get the grid on display for you momentarily. And of course it is your race results from the previous round. So Kyle Caesar gained 1 spot to start on pole position. That's another 70 points for him, I think. Oh no, that's just in the qualifying session. Never mind. Carter A. Thompson in 2nd, Brayden Daniels 3rd, Joshua Grosso 4th, ahead of Chris Chitterling, Van Salkemer. Gage Himes put himself in a great spot for the feature. Rodrigo Theory also went forward. Dean Diltz in 9th, Jason Chen in 10th, Gallego in 11th, and Brandon Renfro in 12th.
Lucky 13, Tom Smith comes across the line just ahead of Aiden Gertz. You had Tyler Kern, he was able to hold position. It looks like he had a pretty good race. Matthew Mascari had some adventures off track, but he was able to finish in 16th, followed by Aaron J. Walker and Brian McGrath in 17th and 18th. Matt Benson had a pretty good charge through the field. I was looking at his numbers. He made quite a few overtakes there, followed by Finnegan Bailiff, Lars Tyhouse, Kyler Bradley in 22nd.
We got Jake Daly, Cecil Hale, Forrest Holland, Jarrett Thompson, Trey Miastak went forward despite his incidents, Tyler Pagnoni, Tom Buellmore, Alex Beal, Shane Boynes, Jesse Breer, Tyler Gant, Jonathan Gluck. I don't think we'll be able to go through the whole grid because we're about to start the race. Put it on our pole sitter and see how he fares this time. We're already going. You see the dust kicking up, weaving all over the track. They've got plenty of room for it. Is Carter Thompson going to throw it down the inside? I see Chitterling on the inside there as well. He's up into 4th already. Van Salkemer going backwards and down. He's been turned. Carl Caesar keeps the lead. Chitterling up into 4th. Well done. Oh, I see some more spinning. That's Matthew Mascari who's been hit. Oh my.
Found a good spot to rejoin there. That's a pretty tough time. Looks like it might have caused a little issue on the exit there. Car not expecting somebody to be on the outside. I mean, I was just looking at that start. It was, you know, if you were, I don't know, 12th or 13th back, you were taking Sunset to start. So we had a pretty good field of separation there, but the entire top 10 took turn 1 at the same time. I mean, it was awesome.
Running into the hairpins side by side. People kicking up the dust there. It's not an off track if you go out there, so you can use it. Fairly clean now, just some clumsiness at turn 3 and 4. Carl Caesar holds on to the lead. It's looking like Carter Thompson has more trouble with Joshua Grosso than he does with the leader. He's got to hold on if he wants to stop him just streaking away at the front. Joshua Grosso making it look in his mirrors. If anything, they would work together, yeah, to sort of push him towards Kyle. They're going to have to team up.
Yeah, Josh had a great race that first one around. He had Marshall to deal with early on, was able to get around him with some battling, but looks like he has Chris Chitterling all over the back of him now, and not far behind him is Gage Himes. Their 3rd, 4th, and 5th are all together. We've got a little bit of blinking from 2nd place out of Carter Thompson. I wonder if
Carter Thompson is dropping down my timesheet.
Dropping out. I wonder if he got booted from the session because he was having a little bit of connection issues. That's a shame.
Yeah, you can see him just plopping down. 40th place now. Oh man, so alright, it's down to Joshua Grosso and Chris Chitterling to hunt down Carl Caesar. Good luck, boys.
The long-time drivers in the league, both Grosso's an admin for us. It looks like Carter A. Thompson was able to finally reappear with his little magic trick.
Rumors of his demise.
It's one way to get about 40 overtakes on our timing tower.
You'll get the poster for that, yeah. Well, okay, I'm actually glad. I'm glad he's back, because then we've got a sharper fight at the front. Jason Chen looks like he was involved in something at the beginning, unfortunately. You see scrap back here, that's Brandon Daniels looking at the inside of Alejandro Gallego. They provided some entertainment in the heat. They're doing it again. Now he's looking at the inside. I like the way Brandon races, giving lots of room. Is it going to be 3 wide into the hairpin?
It's 3 wide going down the straight to the hairpin. Looks like Alejandro decides better. I want to follow somebody. Dean Diltz isn't a bad person to follow, especially on the outside here. We'll see if Dean's able to carry that. We saw it a couple times, carrying that momentum, and again, we're seeing it here. It's interesting, side by side through the hairpin. You know, over and over again, we're seeing that outside line being kind of the advantageous one.
Yeah, I suppose you get pinched on the apex to the inside, and it just robs your momentum. It makes you scrub the front end, probably. Go, nice sideways there.
Right on cue. I was just about to say, the track is very low grip, so trying to make a pass on the brakes there in such a hard braking zone, the hardest braking zone on the track, very easy to lose those rear tires on the brakes here. You're seeing a little bump and nudging around with Trey getting by. A couple cars behind him in the wake. Gonna have to deal with some side-by-side action. Dipping the tires in the dirt. Early investment for some of your X's to try to make some positions early.
Some Tyler Kern getting bobbled around there. Door rubbing. Survives. He's looking at Trey Mistak. He's up 14 spots, so he's taken advantage of the chaos at the beginning. A few big names who went off ahead of him. William Van Solkema. He's managed to thread his way through.
Seen a little bit of a gap forming between Carter Thompson and Chris Chitterling from second to third, but that's already closing down by the end of the straight. There was about 4 tenths between them by the end of the straight. Coming out of Sunset, we got top 5, top 6 all on the line. There's Rodrigo just hanging out back there. Maybe it'll happen just like Watkins Glen, and he might get gifted a win here if these 5 guys get together.
Yeah, I'm sure he's getting flashbacks right about now. Chris Chitterling I wouldn't put it past him to just send one up Carter A. Thompson. So, looking forward to that. Ideally, when we get a little bit further into the race. But are they all just going to sit and relax a little bit and build this gap? Or is it just not possible with the strength of the draft? When you get the overspeed on these straights, you have to use it. Because backing off yourself will send you to the back of the chain.
Well, I mean, that's the decision you have to make. I mean, we saw it in the first heat. You know, Marshall and Josh were racing for third, and we just saw a huge gap open up between Carter and Kyle. They're able to outdrive that draft if there's even maybe 3/4 of a second that opens up. So these guys in third, fourth, and fifth, and sixth, they need to keep their thinking cap on and follow together and try to stay close to give themselves a shot at the end. Try to stay in that draft and have a shot at it, because those 2 up at the front are running incredible times. Carter Thompson ran at 24.88, third, 24.49. They're using that windbreak of Kyle up front, and they're running incredible laps up front.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you're right. Look at the times. So from second to sixth, they've been in the 24s. It's only Carl Caesar who's stuck in the 25s because he has all this wind that he's got to punch through for everyone else.
Chitterling's last lap was faster than pole position for qualifying. That's how quick it was.
Well, guys at the back of the train not opting to work together. Gage Himes is making it clear that he wants past. Allows a little bit of a breakaway for the 2 at the front, but like you said, this draft is so strong and this straight is so long that they may just have
especially if he gets that nut. Josh, you see Josh pushing him. Trying to get that tractor push all the way down that back straight, down the Ullman straight into Sunset Bend, and that's why it's called that. You see that sun just blaring in their eyes. Sometimes at this point in the night, in the evening, it's impossible to see your braking point because it's just pure sunlight going through your windscreen.
I wonder what it's doing to their braking markers. Whatever they had in practice, it's probably a lot more difficult to spot now. See, Carter Thompson is able to get up to the bumper of Kyle Caesar. You hear him scraping the wall as well, but he's scraping the inside wall too. He's opting not to lunge just yet. We've still got a decent amount of time to go. So I think
he wants a chance to break that gap, just like the first race. You know, hey, let's get a gap between us and the guys behind. That way we can race into that final corner. So that's patient driving, smart driving. It's thinking 20 minutes ahead of time. That's when it's going to matter.
Gage Hines with a clean nose, maybe the only one in the top 5. Rodrigo Theory hanging on just about, but maybe slipping back even with the draft. He's got a mega draft, 5 cars, giant hole in the air. And yeah, he's caught up there under the braking, so don't count him out. On the Trey Mistack watch, has he gained 2 more positions since we last checked in with him. And Dean Diltz and Braden Downers are side by side again, coming out of the hairpin. This is like the 3rd time I think we've seen this.
This is so fun for these guys. When you have somebody just outside of your view, you're side by side the whole time. I mean, you see that the gap ahead of them is huge, so this is what they have to race for. They want 7th position. That's what matters, and they are racing every lap for it.
Side by side still, Alejandro Gallego. You can see him choosing his winner. You can see who he's putting his chips behind. I think he looked like he fancied the inside. Whoa, Trey up on 2 wheels, making contact with Brian McGrath, it seems, or maybe Matt Benson.
Kind of got compromised a little bit by Alejandro there. Alejandro was trying to pick the right path to go forward, ended up making the apex. I don't know if Trey expected that to happen on the braking. I think he had the ability to take that corner. I think it was just a little surprise for Trey. Good job, them all holding it together. They're all still there, but now we got a pack of about 10 or 11 cars that are just all primed for position here.
I'd say the longer the scrap goes on, the bigger the train gets. Oh, as we have a lead change. Carter Thompson sliding into Sunset Bend, so he's made the move before the braking zone. He must have had some overlap. Kyle Caesar's left out to dry.
Hard time keeping it though here.
Indeed.
It's gonna be a tough exit there.
Kyle with the overspeed, but Carter with the line and the backup. He's also got guys behind him to push if need be. He's going to have to give Kyle a lane. We'll run him out wide, and then he's got the inside.
Wow, that's just perfect driving.
Will they go side by side through here? There's plenty of room. Yes, okay, going up on the curb. Wow, almost being too friendly. He's got to stick it back up the inside if he wants to be side by side for the hairpin. Oh, gets sideways. Now he's got.
Chitling's going to be able to.
Chris in the right place at the right time. Chooses his
and right now Carter's like, of all people, Kyle does not need a push, friend.
Yeah, right. Really? So now that's Chittling up into 2nd. What can he do? Is he nominated to try and take down Caesar?
Bitterling, like I said, a long-time driver in the league, race winner several times in different capacities. Very good driver. He's aggressive. So Kyle may have to look in those mirrors because Chitterling will put a bumper down the inside and see what happens. And so he's an aggressive driver. He's quick. If he gets the right push, gets the right draft here, it could work out. But you can see Kyle is pulling away through the heavy corner areas of this track. Will Chris even be able to be close enough to take advantage of that draft down that Ullman straight?
We've seen that 4/10 as a gap in the past will reduce to 0 by the time they get to Sunset. It's whether he can just hold on through these corners. You can already see that Chris is slightly backing up Carter and the braking for turn 10. I think Carter had to brake harder than he was used to. But you can see he's closed up. Again, we're all on equal setups, the advanced setup that they use in officials. So everyone's on equal footing. There's no car that should be stronger in certain areas of the track than the other. And we'll see what Chittenden can do with this draft, whether he's got enough overspeed to send it up the inside, or whether he'll just run out of time before they get to the braking. It's very close.
Really hope Chris just tries a move here. You know, Carter wants him to. It looks like Chris gave him a little bit of a bump. He was able to close the gap down by the end of the straight. Gave Kyle a bump going into the Sunset corner. Kyle's able to keep it together comfortably in the lead now.
Bitter irony that it was Carter's time in the lead, his pass for the lead, that actually caused him to drop back to P3. He just opened Pandora's box and got shuffled back. I wonder if Carter will run out of patience very quickly. It's been one lap, and I think he has the pace on Chris. It wouldn't surprise me if he just kind of bumps him out of the way and says, give me back my second. I'm the only guy who can do something about Kyle. Let me do it.
Well, and then that's the decision that you make, because as soon as he tries a risky move or something that he can't get done right away, they're going to give Kyle such an advantage. Kyle will run up the road from him, and it's not a necessary thing that they're going to be able to close that gap back down because he is so quick. So I think Carter's going to have to wait and say, Chris, please start biting this guy.
Do something.
That's our only way to get up front.
Let's check on D. Diltz and Brandon Daniels. Oh, they're side by side again.
What do you know?
Into the hairpin. Meanwhile, we've got someone sending Matt Benson sending it up the inside of the hairpin, muscling Gallego out the way, who doesn't like that, slaps him back. Trey Mistak is watching this cautiously. Is he going to send it 3 wide? Putting a lot of faith in these two. Got side by side. Brandon Daniels looking around the outside. Benson's going to ease off the brakes. Trey Mistak might swoop out and then cut back in, but it'll be on the outside for Tower. That's a line that we've seen work, though. If he holds the momentum around the outside, he could just breeze around Benson. Yes, especially as Benson gets held up a little bit. Advantage to Trey. Meanwhile, T. Diltz and Brandon Daniels
still side by side.
Guys.
This whole lap. This is great driving from these two guys. They're going to be so used to each other's doors that they may just swap liveries next week.
Spotter's going to need a throat lozenge. Oh, I missed that. Getting punchy there. He's dispatched Benson. Now, Alejandro's very wide. Oh, he's been pitched out.
Big wide line, trying to go on the sunset, trying to line up a good run here. That's actually a pretty impressive way to take that corner.
Right.
I've never been able to kind of commit to that line. I know it's a line to do, and we're side by side by side by side. 3 wide, 2 rows, just about. Now everybody's picking a line. Trey takes the inside line, a little narrow on entry.
Oh, it's Brian McGrath sending it in way too hot. Punches Benson out. Oh, Tom Smith off in the background as well. Ah, man, shame. That was a good pack. Broken up. Brian McGrath soldiers on.
Peace.
With the bounty on his head now by all the Valhalla drivers, no doubt.
Dean and Braden are putting on a clinic on how you drive side by side. Is it the fastest way to get through a race? No, you see a huge gap in front of them. It's almost 16 seconds to the front pack, but I wouldn't change it for anything. These guys wouldn't change it for anything. They are loving this. You know they're having a blast. They're probably covered in sweat at this point. They're happy for that blue flag car to get out of the way so they can get back to their race.
Very generous. Oh, man. Bowers. And then Braid and Daniels pushing him in. Not side by side, refreshingly. Although that probably won't last very long. It's almost like he's trying to give him some overspeed, so his braking marker isn't right. Oh, and it's Alejandro goes way too deep.
Alejandro's able to keep it off the back of Dean Diltz just barely. Thankful for that, because I did not want to lose this race. Alejandro's just dying to get a part of this, and that's going to open the door for Trey to have a look.
And he's giving himself a slow down. He's got to slow down from cutting the outside, so he's going to have to bleed that time off. But now it's Isaac Gardner sending up the inside of Trey very, very late and aggressively.
Trey's stuck between those two teammates. They're swarming him. It's 2-on-1 with that race right now.
Not an enviable position to be in. It looks like Alejandro has managed to scrub off the penalty. Almost opened the door for his teammate. We'll check in with the leading Snake, still intact. Still Chris Chitterling
still in the same order.
Yeah.
Chitterling still hanging on to the back of Kyle. Kyle's doing such a great job. I mean, he's able to pull about 3 or 4 tenths through the rest of the lap, and then he has to sell it all back by the end of this straight. We had a little look here from Carter, looking for second place, sending it down on the narrow line. See if he can get that grip, if he's going to be able to clear him and carry out to the outside. He does. And now we're back on the attack with Carter looking at the back of Kyle Caesar. We got about 8 minutes to go, so maybe 3 or 4 more laps.
Round 2, here we go. He's having a look. Is he going to send it, or is he just threatening? He's sending it.
No time like the present. get this guy out of the front. Chitterling's going to have a look on the inside, heading down into turn 2. Chitterling gives a little push to Carter. I don't think he's going to be able to clear Kyle.
Not as fast on the apex as he thought. That slows Kyle down. Chris is going to say thank you very much. He's not going to deny that.
Still side by side.
Wow.
And it looks like Chris may have to slide in. Is he going to get a push from Josh?
That's exactly what Carter wanted to see. A little bit of...
But now Kyle's got a little nudge down that straight. You're going to see a move on the brakes here from Kyle, maybe? No. He's going to slide into second place.
I think he'll be relieved with that. That could have gone way worse. I was wondering if Joshua Grosso and Chitterling would breeze by him or work together, especially when he had the outside line coming out 5. But he's so good at keeping momentum. He's already back. He's looking like he's going to make a move for the lead again.
Yeah, he's antsy to be up there. He likes being on the front. Likes a clean racetrack out in front of him, looks like. But you know, at this point, now you got to think, oh man, if you're Carter Thompson, I got the fastest guy on the track behind me. He's going to have a huge draft going down that final straight, going to the final corner. Are you already thinking that far ahead? You know, you've won a couple races. You won a championship recently. GT3 Pro Champion Mark Foley. A lot of race wins that came with that. Oh my gosh, we do see a pass for the lead. I'm sorry, I'm trying to talk about other stuff. These guys are just too good.
How'd he do that? Brilliant. Like effortless. Like he's just...
Yeah.
I know we are running equal setups, but I was noticing even the way they were exiting Sunset, it looked like Kyle's car was so much steadier on the bumps. You could see the guys in 3rd, 4th, 2nd and 5th just being rocked by the bumps on the exit, but Kyle always looked a little bit more planted. So the way he's just controlling the car on the entry and then maybe letting it settle down before he punches the power just looks a little bump there. But it's just those little fractions of speed that are keeping him ahead. And he's so consistent as well. That's what makes him such a hard competitor. He's bringing everyone else up to a higher level. I'm sure Carter Thompson never has to race this hard anywhere else. This is Broken Wing Racing League. It just pushes everyone to raise their game. The bar just constantly gets higher. Every time you think that you've cracked the car, you've figured it out, you deserve to be at the front, someone new will come along, or someone will just get better and start pushing you to lap times that you didn't know you had in you. And that's a great reason to get involved. You'll see the results in your officials. Whoa, Josh with a little wiggle.
Perfectly said. As we see a race here for 3rd place. Now this is what Carter wants. He wants a little bit of gap so he can throw, you know, a hellacious move at Kyle in the front and have a little bit of a gap to not worry about 3rd place coming back by. So we'll see if those guys can close that gap coming down that straight. About 6/10 behind right now.
So we would check in on the Dean Diltz, Brandon Daniels situation. Looks like Braden is stayed ahead.
They're not side by side. What are these guys doing? Oh, there we go. That's much better. Okay, that's normal.
They heard you.
I felt real weird for a second there, not seeing these two guys.
Wow, you saw him scrub the front and understeer. Trey Mistak's
a little late on the brakes. It looks like Braden's going to have the advantage there. He's going to have a mirror full of Trey Mistak now. Maybe a little bit different side-by-side racing with the Trey, so that may mean that we haven't seen the last of Dean Diltz and Braden side-by-side. We got Dean Diltz and Alejandro Gallego side-by-side. Dean Diltz rides that curb. He's going to have a little bit slower of an exit there, and Alejandro's able to hold on.
Trey, his patience and his experience probably running from the back of the field to the front in the GT3 series so often. And he said he did it to improve his racecraft, and you can see the evidence of that here. Very patient, waits for problems to emerge or people just to make mistakes, and he just slips on through and gains 19 positions. That said, Isaac Gardner is up 27, so he's done a pretty decent job all the way from the back. Presumably.
Well, we mentioned it too. Takai, 2 positions behind him and 18, up 30 positions.
Yes, right. First time we've checked in on him today. He's there scrapping with Matt Benson. Other big movers, Daniel Varron up 21. It's nice work from him. Cutting a bit of grass. Gap in front looking very, very small again. It's the end of the straight. We're into turn 1. We've got through about 3 or maybe 2.5 minutes left. So maybe 2 laps left, max.
think this next one's got to be white flag. Depending on how fast they come around it, they should be able to get it around. Yeah, they're running less than 2.5 minute laps, so I think next time around will be white flag for these guys.
Dilt's cutting in behind. Oh, he's so far away from Braden, he must be missing it dearly.
It's like twins in the womb. You know, they're used to just being next to each other.
Wow. Trey Mistak now up behind Braden Daniels with that toe. Oh, Braden's gonna make it a bit easier for him there.
All of the track there, just barely keeping the tires on the curb. A little dip in the dirt there, too much. We could have seen Braden go into the wall there, so good job holding it together. A little front end damage on the front of Braden. A sign of all the wear and tear and the...
Now around the outside.
Why do we see Dean going late? Able to keep it together. He's going to lose a couple more spots. Trying to slot in.
Will Trey hold on? We've seen that outside move at the hairpin multiple times used to great effect. So Trey up to 7th place. 20 positions gained. Back at the front checking in. Carter Thompson all over the back of Carl Caesar. Joshua Grosso well in the mix as well. So he's overtaken Chris Chittling at some point. And then Gage Hyams has gotten around Rodrigo at some point as well. But if this isn't the white flag, the next one will be. And Carter Thompson has got one more lap to depose.
Is he gonna... Looks like he's gonna make the move here, trying to get ahead. Going to the white flag.
He tried this last
Kyle's
time.
gonna have that inside line. It's hard to find the grip. Will it give him a good run going into turn 1 though? It's a pretty good gap. He's got a pusher. He's got Josh Grosso behind him. Give him a little nudge saying, hey, get up there, buddy. I need you to make a move if I'm going to have a chance to win this race. So anybody right now in this top 6, they could totally win this on white flag, Mark.
Right.
We've seen it before.
I can't doubt Archer's bravery. He absolutely throws it into Sunset Bend. I think it's the car that can't quite deal with it, because it's a repeat of the end of the heat race where he slid wide, a little bit ambitious, and it happened again there. He's kind of fortunate that he's got another lap to make up for it, but he'll be learning from that, and if he has to try it again, he may have his eye in, drop back 3/10, but we've seen him claw that back within the lap.
He's got Josh ready to push him, so Kyle's going to be really tough out there to keep them behind him on that final straight. There is an opportunity on that Ullman straight going into Sunset. You could put your car right on that inside wall, take a narrow line, and just try to maybe force Kyle out. We've seen it twice. Kyle's able to hold on to that lead if he gets that inside line. So maybe we see a daring move here from Carter. Maybe we see a daring move from Josh, and Chitterling pushes him up towards the front.
Oh, Carter.
Oh, Carter's going to lose it there.
Oh, that's it.
So we're going to need a big push from Chitterling here. That's a pretty good gap, about half a second. I don't know if it's going to be enough.
He'll need a big push, and all the slipstream he can get. The gap is over half a second. I don't think we've seen that kind of gap overcome just on the Ullman straight alone, so it'll depend on this next sequence of corners.
Kyle's so good through this sequence of corners too. But you can see Josh Grosso is kind of winding down that lead. Around 4/10 at the moment. Not something that he can't overcome if he does get a good push from Chris here. Looks like Chris isn't going to be able to give the push.
Chris,
he's going to lose it.
Oh, they're out. Carter Thompson claims 4th place back, but now there's no one to push Josh. So I think Kyle may be laughing here. I mean, he's got one corner to go.
This would be a wild move if Josh is able to put something on the brakes going into Sunset here. Or is he going to be happy to take it second? Doesn't look like there's anything to be done. All Kyle has to do is keep it together for about 1,000 more feet.
Gage up into 3rd place. What did we say? Use the heat as a qualifier. Do well in the heat. That's exactly what he's done. Kyle Caesar wins again. Takes the sweep here at Sebring ahead of Joshua Grosso. Gage Hyams. Carter Thompson was prepping for his big lunge at the lead.
Let's see Braden and Trey real quick. They're coming side by side.
Wow.
Wide going into Sunset. Braden's able to get in front of Trey. Is he going to be able to keep the run? Trey's going to have some good grip on the inside. We're going to see a drag race 3 wide to the finish line. Who's going to be able to put it together? Braden Trey, then Alejandro. That's incredible racing. That is incredible racing.
Dean Diltz also in his side-by-side drag race with Brendan Renfro. And wow, we've got more cars coming across the line side-by-side. Ren Solcombe, De Kaisha, Tyler Kern and Forrest Holland side-by-side again. Finnegan Bailiff, Aidan Gertz in there as well. We've got Matt Benson crossing the line. Have Oliver Brooks, Shane Goins, Marshall Scary, who recovered 22 spots after this big incident in the heat. Tyler Pagnoni and Andrew Simmons crossing the line. We saw him have an incident at the beginning, no? So he's done very well there. Alex Beal, Jeff Lubitsch. That's the first time I've seen this livery.
Hey, Hannah Montana car coming across the line. Welcome back to racing, Jeff. Glad to have you back.
Jason Chen, we didn't see what happened to him, but I did have a big red bar on SDK telling me he was involved in an incident.
That's unfortunate. He had such great pace in that heat race. But many more races to come, Mark.
Oh yeah, I hope they'd like that. That was great. I like that we can go to big bona fide racetracks like this, and we can go to little Mickey Mouse countryside road tracks as well, and get great racing wherever we end up. Like we could be at
the MX-5 can make a MX-5 can make a parking lot fun. I mean, it is just such a good car. The amount of draft, the amount of skill it takes, like you mentioned earlier, Kyle was able to keep it so smooth through that, the Gendian bend into Le Mans curve, all those different corners where the body roll is just kicking you one side to the other. He was able to kind of just smooth his braking out, keep that car stable, and was able to rock and roll through there and gain a lot of time. But obviously a great win for Kyle. Who would you like to go with for the driver of the day outside of our winner? My vote would be somewhere between Dean Diltz and Braden Daniels. Braden was able to be the winner out of that, but that was awesome racing. I kind of want to give it to both.
Oh man, that's what I was going to say. If you're doing both of those, I'll give it to Gage Himes to come back from the bottom of the 20s. It's the perfect example of what we want to do with this format. Use the heat race to go forward and then set yourself up for the feature. And he's been richly rewarded for that. So Gage Himes, my driver of the day.
That's a great pick. He's a very good driver. We had a lot of people that were able to make it up through the pack. A lot of people that were able to keep it side by side, Mark, and that was just incredible racing. I can't wait for next week. Where are we going to be next week, Mark?
Oh, we're at Daytona next week. So completely different beast. We're going to have banked corners. We're doing the full road course layout. So there's going to be bump drafting galore. If we thought Watkins was a lot of bumping, I think Daytona's going to be another level. It'll be interesting to see how those cars handle the new bus stop and its big scary tire barriers and curbs. I wonder if they may just fly over. We may be able to go side by side through there, given these little pocket rockets. Is there anyone we can pull in for a chat? Or I know Carl doesn't have a microphone.
I want to reach out to our second place finisher, Josh Grasso, and see if I can pull him over.
Yes, well, while you're looking at that, if this leaves you thirsty for more Broken Wing Racing League action, we've got you covered. New seasons across the board. GT3 Season 18 starts on Sunday. We're at Silverstone. We're expecting a massive grid for that as well. Won't be surprised if we max out at 60, even though it's Silverstone and everyone seems to hate it. And then the Endurance Series kicks off next Tuesday as well. Their 6th season, I believe. That's 90 minutes of GTP and GT3 action. And then Wednesday, we've got the second round of our ARCA series. Also has exploded in popularity. We did Daytona last night, and we had 40 plus drivers, which was a record. So we'd love to see another big set of cars on the grid for our first mile and a half at Texas.
Broken Wing Racing League is alive and well. We have great car count, and we have one of our admins here and our second place finisher of the night, Joshua Grasso. You were behind these guys racing for first and second. Carter Thompson gets a little loose on a corner. What were you thinking when you had a chance to make a run at Kyle? Might be having a little bit of audio issues. Josh, you there with me? Fortunately, I don't think that we're going to have...
I can't hear him either, sad.
But either way, I think that's just such a good finish for those guys. It's tough for them it's tough for Carter there because he had a really good shot there at the end, and you could tell he was just pushing a little too hard, lost a little rear grip, and we just barely missed out on another last lap attempt. But we did see them swap positions a couple times, so Carter's going to make a big push at I have a feeling in Daytona next week. We'll see what answers we have for Kyle Caesar, who's running this Caesar's like the series like an emperor that his name suggests.
Who's next to enter the Coliseum? Who dares to challenge Kyle Caesar? Yeah, he had a good go of it. A valiant effort for sure. Well, yes, as we said, Daytona is the next round next Thursday. I'll be commentating on that one with you as well, Dylan. And I also forgot to mention, I had a joke that I wanted to say. You know how I said we've been following Elliot Burton around the world? We went to Japan when he was in Japan. Guess where he is this week?
I'm going to give you 2 tries, and I'm going to say he was probably on turn 12 right here at Sebring, watching the 12 hours right now. So that's hilarious, Mark.
I know,
he needs
right?
to start bringing that sim with him.
Oh, he should. He could have been here. It's the nighttime. There's no one racing.
Talk about emerging. Yeah, we need to get him out there. We could have thrown it to him live from the trackside.
Oh, a pit lane reporter.
Yeah, that's what we should have done.
Oh, well, a big shout out to our partners here as well. SimMotion, our title sponsor. I assume a lot of our racers using round wheels that maybe they bought from SimMotion. Members and racers of the league do get a special discount coupon code, I believe, for sim racing gear and equipment. We're also sponsored by Brandon Burns Overlay, Speed Reels, Javecki Insurance Agency, RDocs, who do our LMP3 setups and Falcon series, and Get Good Racing School. Thank you for all your support. Visit BWRL.net. We have a fantastic new website for more information about these guys and the league as a whole.
Well, Mark, that was incredible. I hope we have everybody join us next week. If you didn't catch this race live or if you weren't able to join, you totally missed out. But you should be able to catch us later on our YouTube channel. Check us out at Broken Wing Racing on YouTube, and you can watch all the race replays of the races we broadcast. We broadcast on Sundays, our GT3 race, and our broadcasting brother, Jason Alvarez, leads that. So check that out on Sundays, and if you aren't watching, come join us and race with us.
Well said. All right, thank you very much for watching, everybody. We will see you next Thursday for more Mazda action. Bye-bye.